What's good, YouTube fam? It's your boy Tony, aka Descendant of Chaos and Controversy. And before I get into this video, um, I want to make an apology. And the reason for that being is before I went to bed last night, I had done a video speaking on the tragedy that happened in Buffalo, New York. Okay. Amongst doing so, I neglected to acknowledge the victims and give my condolences to those who got killed and those who were wounded, because I was more focused on trying to make a point than actually acknowledging those that were the victims of um, the circumstances that were unfortunate. Um, and for that, I just want to take the time out to acknowledge them, send my condolences to the family, and say that again, it was a despicable, cowardly, distasteful, disgusting event that took place. Moving forward, there there was a video that I woke up to this morning. And usually when this individual posts his notifications to say, hey, you know, set this as a reminder that at this time I will be going live. Usually I'm on point, other times due to circumstances, having to work or whatever, I'm unable to catch the live. Well, I would say this time around, I'm actually happy that I didn't catch the live. Not because I disagreed or disapproved of the content, it's because the video, for one, was much needed. Number two, it required my undivided attention, and not for me to participate in a chat and be distracted by the comments and deter me from paying attention to what was being said. Okay. Ricky hit upon many significant points. And I know he made content previously that was very informative, made you see things from a particular perspective. But this video here that he did this morning, I'm gonna put a link in the comment section, and seeing the thumbnail, you'll understand why I am pretty much making this a much needed recommendation. So, giving credit where credit is due, I'm gonna go ahead and just say this video here is going to piggyback off of what Ricky Manor just put out this morning. I've heard the term whataboutisms on other platforms when speaking on situations, especially in regards to the racial tension that is very much an issue within this country. It seems to me that whenever a tragedy occurs or an incident in regards to like those within the black community and law enforcement, that you get those that take the situation that's currently being discussed and bring in shit that's irrelevant to the discussion at hand. Okay? Instead of staying on topic, they take a detour to derail those from actually like focusing on the content, the details within the situation, and just downplay anything that is put on the table for the topic of discussion. So, of course, when people say, how come nothing ever gets resolved? How come there's no solutions? Because people don't really want to see things fixed. The reason, and here's the thing that is very noticeable. When I speak on validation, you always have a point of reference. When I spoke on the Black Lives Matter, not really giving the organization, yes, there are those that use that talking point. But like I said, I don't jump on bandwagons. That's why I hate when people say, oh, you must be a Democrat. You must be this. You must be that. Oh, you must be whatever, whatever. You don't know what the fuck I am unless I tell you. And as I've said before, I don't entertain political parties. That's for other people to do. That's not my fucking shit. To me, people are good at following instead of leading. And they follow people to a fucking burning bridge that collapses and they just fall to their demise. And then talk about, oh, we're free thinkers. No, you're not, because you're easily influenced by motherfuckers that lead you astray. They'll bait and hook you with something that has an element of truth to it. And once they got you and they're reeling you in, then they reel you in to condition you to their own bullshit. Which isn't any better than the shit that you was already being influenced under. When I said in the video, what was it? Last year or the year before last? I understood the intent when Farrakhan had the Million Man March. The intent, I understood, was to bring about unity, to say, hey, we can come together in this event without violence. I understood that. However, like what Ricky Manor had pointed out, when it came to Biden putting a target on our backs, that event, as positive as the intent was, put a target on our backs. Because when you hear Biden talking about the white people becoming the minority, and you hear Tucker Carlson talking about the replacement and shit, when you get or Candace Owens talking about how black people are the most dangerous group here in America, and downplaying the existence of the neo-Nazis and the KKK, and the potential and the damage that they have the means to cause. When you get those that sit there, and when I speak on demographics, when you hear people like those go along just to get along, individuals that I mentioned in my video prior to this one, and they're quick to want to put out there. Well, look at the black on black crime. Look at Chicago. Look at New York. Look at LA. But forget about that. The country's bigger than those demographics that they pointed out. And that black folks don't just reside in those demographics. But let them paint the picture that they paint with a generalized perception, with blanket statements. You get those who are sitting back, dormant for the time being, seeing how much more bullshit can be presented before they resurface. Because in addition to the dangerous rhetoric, when you hear it being said that black people are the most dangerous group here in America coming out of Candace Owens' mouth, as Ricky Manor had presented in this video, you know how you get people who, how should I put this? We can't let these individuals get this reputation because now we are no longer the ones to be feared. No. We gotta reinstate that fear. We gotta make our presence known. We gotta go to whatever lengths or measures or means to prove that we are still very much a threat. And especially to a marginalized group. Fine, you got the black on black crime. They're taking each other out. You got law enforcement. Hey, they're just an extension of what we used to do. But there's no accountability or responsibility or repercussions because, hey, they're law enforcement. They get away with what they get away with. Consequence free. No accountability. In regards to us being members of the KKK or the neo-Nazi or the white supremacist organization, we sat back for far too long. Now it's time to make our presence felt. They don't look at us as being a terrorist organization. That works in our favor. Now people could be under the illusion of, so we get to continue to carry on out our acts of violence against a marginalized group with little to no repercussion. And all the excuses will be made in our favor. And we also got people in key positions to... So yeah, there may be some collateral damage on our behalf, but we got people in key positions to where the damage will be done on a much grander and greater scale. So as people think or are led to believe that America with the triple K isn't racist anymore, how did they say? What was the greatest trick that the devil pulled off? To make those believe that he didn't exist. And by the time his presence is felt, it is too late. To underestimate these people as if they don't have the means. And getting back to the demographics. When you get these people like the Brandon Tatums, the Candace Owens, the conservative twins, ABL, Ben Shapiro, or whatever, or Tucker Carlson, they'll sit there and say, oh, these people don't exist. You're not in these other demographics where the shit is highlighted because they can control what gets out and what's on a hush hush. Again, what doesn't affect you isn't going to bother you. And if it's not put before you for you to acknowledge, you're going to think it's not taking place. You think that just because you got a few examples of some successes within the black community, that you can use that narrative to say, oh, they're not that bad. We're not that bad off. But in the same breath, you want to sit there and talk about other black folks in the black community. Which is it? We're not that bad off, or we're fucking dangerous, and we need to be put in our place. I mean, I get confused. Because these same people that are quick to jump to the aid and the defense of when it comes to white people, who sit there and say, oh, you keep bringing up racism and you keep saying that racism. No, not all white people are racist, but how come it's wrong when the generalization is placed on white people, but it's okay and right when it's put on black people? Stop playing the victim when you tell black people to suck it up, shut the fuck up, and if something fucked up happens to them, oh well, chin up, keep it moving. But something happened to white people and shit, it's just like, let's cuddle them. Let's cater to their sensitivity. Oh, poor. Let's make laws to cater to your, oh, they're saying this and then you want to cry. Stop being a victim, right? That's what you tell us. Stop playing a victim. But then when you have a fucking tragedy that justifies why you got black people the way they are, oh, that's just an isolated incident. Yeah, you kept saying that about law enforcement. You see them isolated incidences becoming incident after incident after incident after incident after incident after incident, and it ain't isolated no more. You say, oh, it's only in certain areas if you look at it. I was under the illusion when I heard about racism only being in the South. But being that I'm a person who grew up in Connecticut, I could tell you in certain areas in Connecticut, you think there ain't no KKK in Connecticut, you're sadly mistaken. In Boston, you think there ain't no racism in Boston? In Georgia, you think there's no racism in Georgia? In North Carolina, you think there's no racism in North Carolina? In Texas, you think there's no racism in Texas? In Louisiana, you think there's no racism in Louisiana? Sundown towns, you think they still are a myth and that they don't exist? Yeah. Anyway, until next time, until next video, see you.